What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I want to talk about 5 missing weapon types in Black Ops 6 that I would love to see in the future with this game. Now keep in mind, when I'm talking about this list, I'm not necessarily referring to specific models of weapons or anything. I don't really care what you call the gun or what it looks like so much, I more so just care how it performs in game. And at the moment, I'm definitely seeing some gaps in the weapon lineup, and filling these gaps in could definitely introduce a bit more variety into the gameplay experience by offering truly unique weapons that are not like anything else that we currently have in the game. So let's just dive right into this, and the first gun on my list that I've seen a lot of people talking about since launch is a revolver. There is no revolver in this game, which, especially considering the era of this game, it is quite surprising to not see a revolver in the game at launch. And we still don't have one in Season 2. And as far as performance goes, I think there is a clear gap that this could be filling that we currently don't have in the pistol category. In my eyes, the best way to fit a revolver into the current lineup of pistols would be to make it a double action revolver with a very slow fire rate, the slowest fire rate in the pistol category, but give it a 2-shot kill potential. And it should have a much better 2-shot kill potential compared to the GS545, because that one can get a 2-shot kill, but only out to like 6.3 meters. In the case of a revolver, I would extend that out to more like 20-ish meters, and I would make it so it never takes you more than 3 shots to kill in core game modes, whereas the GS545 will eventually drop off to a 4-shot kill. But again, very slow fire rate, even slower than the GS545. And another thing I would give this pistol to make it very unique is a very short 1-shot headshot potential. However, in order to compensate for that, in order to balance that out, I also think this revolver should have a small pre-fire delay. Now, typically, I'm not in favor of pre-fire delays, or at least not long pre-fire delays, especially on the LMGs. I think they've taken them a little bit too far in this game. But in this particular case, if we're talking about a pistol that has the potential to get a 1-shot kill to the head, when you consider the fact that we do have a slower time to kill than average for the Call of Duty franchise, I think a pre-fire delay helps keep that 1-shot headshot potential in check. And again, also, I'm talking about a very short range for the 1-shot headshot potential, like at most 10 meters, but maybe even a shorter range than that. If we had a revolver like that in the game, I think it would fit really nicely with the other pistols. It would be very unique. It wouldn't perform or feel like any of the other pistols that are currently in the game, and it would provide that nice extra challenge of going for those headshot kills in close range engagements. It would be high risk, high reward, probably not your best option on every class setup if you're just looking for a really versatile pistol, but I think that would add just a bit more variety there, and it would feel great in this game. As for the next type of weapon that I feel is missing from the game in its current state, this is a very slow fire rate, full auto, 3-shot kill assault rifle. As it is right now, there are no full auto assault rifles in the game that can get a 3-shot kill without headshots at least. And the only 3-shot kill assault rifle we do have is the Goblin Mark II, which is a semi-auto gun. And as much as I do like the Goblin Mark II, I think it is a solid semi-auto option, it's obviously not the same thing as having a slow fire rate, unforgiving, full auto 3-shot kill assault rifle. So with this, I'd basically balance it like the Tonto of the assault rifle category. So I would say the fire rate should be around 440 to 450 rounds per minute. So that would give it a roughly 270 millisecond time to kill with that 3-shot kill potential, which would be noticeably better than average for the assault rifle category. But the downside with this really slow fire rate is it would be very unforgiving. If you miss a single shot, now your time to kill will skyrocket. And these types of guns are really nice to have in Call of Duty in my opinion, and I kind of miss that in this game. Having that very unforgiving, high risk, high reward sort of an assault rifle in full auto that really rewards people that are accurate and on target and punishes those that are unable to do that on a consistent basis. These types of assault rifles tend to be popular in the higher skill groups, whereas not as popular in the lower skill groups. And that's fine. I think it's nice to have that variety there where it's a clear choice that you're making. There's a clear trade-off that you're making with that. And it's not just going to be your standard like 600 to 750 round per minute fire rate assault rifle that just performs like all of the other assault rifles in that area. After that, I do have one specific weapon model that I would actually like to see added to Black Ops 6. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they've already got plans for this at some point. This is the AN-94. Now, the reason behind this is it fits perfectly with the era. Although I haven't played the campaign and maybe 1994 is stretching it a little bit, there are several guns in the game already that didn't exist until 1994 to 1996. So it wouldn't be a stretch at all era-wise to expect the AN-94 to be coming to the game. And with this gun, I'd like to see the signature Hyper Burst feature, where the first 2 rounds that you fire will fire at a significantly higher fire rate before it settles into its consistent full auto fire rate. Now on top of this, instead of toggling to semi-auto like you can with all of the full auto assault rifles in the game, I would make it so, just like last year with Modern Warfare 3, if you toggle it over, it toggles into a 2-round burst. This would be a really nice and refreshing addition to the game. I know it's not like we haven't seen the AN-94 in many previous games, especially Black Ops games, but at the moment in Black Ops 6, we've got a pretty basic offering of assault rifles. We've got full auto 4-shot kill or 5-shot kill guns, and then one semi-auto 3-shot kill, and all of them have just a consistent flat fire rate. There's no interesting elements like the AN-94 has with its hyperburst, so it would perform nothing like what we've got in the game, and that's what I want to see more of, is something that just feels totally different and gives you a unique gameplay experience when using it. Now, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is already in the plans for future content for the game. So fingers crossed on that one. Hopefully we will be seeing that in the not too distant future. Next on my list, this one might be a little bit controversial since there's a big tendency to not like shotguns, especially ones that have decent potential. But I do feel this is missing from the game right now. This is a very unforgiving pump action or lever action shotgun that has a very tight pellet spread when aiming down sight, like significantly tighter than anything we've got currently in the game, but also make it very unforgiving. So I'm picturing like the pump action Reclaimer 18 from last year with Modern Warfare 3, or the 410 Ironhide from Cold War, or going all the way back to Black Ops 3, the Argus. Basically the type of shotgun where hip firing is not usually a good plan unless you're like point blank, since it's very unforgiving and you just have to hit like all of those pellets. However, if you aim down sight, you have a super tight spread, and if you're on point with your shots, you would have the best in class one-shot kill potential. Now this follows along with that trend that we've seen with a couple of the guns on this list already, and that is high risk, high reward, and sort of a challenge weapon. Not something you would want to use for versatility, but something you would want to use for a change of pace and to challenge yourself. And if you perform well with it, you'll be rewarded heavily for that. Whereas if you can't get your shots on target, you're going to be punished very heavily, and you'd be better off with any of the other shotguns in the game. Now, obviously, something like this would have to be very carefully balanced because it could very easily become insanely overpowered, especially with, like I said, the slower than average time to kill potential in this game compared to the Call of Duty franchise. But when you factor movement into the equation as well, I think they could definitely get something like this into a good place where it doesn't feel totally overpowered. It just feels like something that's rewarding if you're really on point. And with that, we've got one last gun on my list here, and this is one that I really personally want. I maybe selfishly want this one, and it might not even be something that really appeals to much of the community. But something that I feel is really missing with this game is a super fast fire rate semi-auto gun. Preferably assault rifle, but honestly, I'd take it essentially anywhere at this point. What I'm looking for with this one is at least a 600 round per minute rate of fire cap. Whether that's with rapid fire or not, I don't really care. I would just like to see a semi-auto rate of fire value at least that high, because then it would actually challenge my trigger finger a little bit, and people with a good trigger finger would be rewarded heavily for that. At the moment, for primary weapons, the fastest semi-auto rate of fire you're going to get is 513 rounds per minute with the Goblin Mark II using rapid fire. And while I like using the gun and it performs fairly well, it just doesn't really challenge my trigger finger at all. I can reach that rate of fire on a very consistent basis over a long period of time, and I want something where there's more of a challenge to that. Now, in order to keep it balanced, I think it should still have a 3-shot kill potential like the Goblin Mark II does, but probably a much shorter range or more recoil, something else to keep it in check and keep it balanced. Maybe even make it a 4-shot kill to the body, but you only need 1 headshot up close to cut that down to a 3-shot kill potential in order to keep that in check and prevent the Goblin Mark II from becoming totally irrelevant. But this is something that I personally, maybe selfishly, want to see in the game, because I do feel like this game is lacking when it comes to high fire rate semi-autos. Now, I also understand on the other end of that, you have to make sure that cap isn't too crazy high, because then people with like modded controllers or macros, they'll just take advantage of that and cheat their way to a full auto version of that gun with an insane time to kill potential. But just because those things exist, I don't think that should mean that they don't allow for some trigger finger skill expression in the game. Now, I do want to say at this point, we do know the FAL, or they're calling it the TR2 in-game. This is coming throughout Season 2. And this is a semi-auto marksman rifle with a great rate of fire and respectable handling, they say, but we don't know exactly at this point what that rate of fire value looks like. I have my doubts that it will be as high as 600 rounds per minute, even with rapid fire, but time will tell on that one. If it doesn't, then I hope we see something in the future that will allow for that. And there we go. That's going to wrap it up for my list of 5 weapon types that I feel are currently missing from the weapon rotation in Black Ops 6. And I think bringing these into the game would really fill in some gaps and provide some more gameplay variety to make things a bit more interesting. Because at this point, I know for many people, the game is quite stale already. And this is much earlier than normal to have this feeling for many people with a Call of Duty game. Now, of course, these are just the 5 weapon types I'd like to see, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, how would you feel about the addition of these weapon types I've mentioned? And second, are there any other styles of weapons or types of weapons that you would like to see added to the game? Whether that's specific weapon models, or if you want to take the approach I took here, just types of weapons when it comes to their performance. What would you like to see going forward in Black Ops 6? If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.